Hello, friends. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the October 2020 energy forecast for life path number 6. So, sixes. October happens to be a 5 universal energy month. And what that means is basically there's an energy, we have our own personal energies that we move through. But we also have a collective energy that comes in and influences our experiences. And so October is a 5 universal energy month. And what that means for us is basically a lot of change, a lot of moving through transformations, changes that can be frequent, unexpected, or expected. But really the call is to go with the flow as much as possible. The more that we can move with that energy and not fight against it, the more comfortable that the experience will be. Not to say that that experience is always going to be easy, but the more that we can surrender to, our higher self, our higher consciousness, to the universe, and allow them to sort of carry us forward and not fight that energy and go with that flow, again, the easier that energy will be for us. So a 5 energy month just means that we may see influences of that sort of energy coming in. And so just be aware of it. It can also influence the desire and the need for travel, adventure, expansion, that sort of thing, living in excess, living in an extreme. So again, whether that's a physical or an emotional extreme. And so the challenges that come in this month would just be asking us to reflect upon where we can find balance and moderation in our lives each day, so that we're not living in excess, so that we're not living in those extremes, so that we are finding the balance. So as challenges or transformations come in for you this month, if they do, try to see where you're out of balance or where you feel out of balance and what adjustments you can make to get yourself back into balance so that it moves a little bit more fluidly. Okay? And so what I'd like to do is take a look at the 4 weeks of October, the energies of October, and I'm going to break them down into 4 weeks. They can be fluid. Of course, some months have more than 4 weeks, but I'm going to break it down into 4, and then however they come in for you, they come in, right? And so the very first week that we have coming in, sixes, we've got this energy of celebration. And so it's a really light, beautiful energy, something to really, again, celebrate, be joyful about. There's a level of happiness. And so it feels very light, very peaceful, very joyful, very childlike. So really embrace that energy. The only note that I would make about that first week of October is again coming back to the 5 energy of the overall, of the collective, and just say, be mindful that you're not overdoing it, right? Don't spread yourself too thin. Don't, party in excess, that sort of thing. Just try to avoid those extremes. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the celebration, whatever comes in, but just, again, everything in moderation. That's really going to be the sort of mantra for October, I think, is moderation and balance. And so, again, enjoy those lighthearted energies as they come in for you this first week, but just try not to do too much in excess, okay? And then in the second week, it's interesting, we kind of have this abrupt change in the energy from the first week to the second week. So the second week, there's this energy of, and this isn't a heavy or a negative energy, it's just sort of a shift. And so, which is not surprising with that 5 overall universal month energy. But in the second week, we have this energy of moving to calmer waters, leaving sort of that turbulence behind. But there's also this sort of keynote of making sure that you don't take with you any resentment, any anger, any frustration, any forebodings, anything that's really like holding you back, right? Any negativity, making sure that you're not taking that with you as you move into these calmer waters, because what you take with you will definitely resurface. And so the message is really, again, about that balance and finding that balance. And so it's like, it's beautiful that you're moving into calmer waters and leaving the turbulence behind, but just make sure that any of that resentment or anger or frustration, that you've worked through those lower vibe energies before you move forward, okay? You don't want to take those with you, because if you take them with you, again, they're just going to resurface to be worked through. And so it's really about not suppressing those feelings, those emotions. It's more about working through them and transmuting them, so that as you move into those calmer waters, there's nothing sort of anchoring you down. There's nothing weighing you down, right? You're able to move forward in grace and peace and tranquility and not have to worry about all of that crud sort of resurfacing. So there is this call to, again, find that balance in the second week, and just make sure that, just do a checkpoint and just make sure that as you're moving forward into those happier, calmer waters, that you're not taking anything with you that doesn't need to be along for the journey, okay? And then as we move into the third week of October, we have this energy of sort of, feels like addiction, kind of something really self-sabotage, really, or holding yourself back, right? And so it's kind of like, it's this energy of wanting to move forward into those calmer waters, right? But self-sabotaging yourself in a way where maybe you don't feel like you deserve it, maybe you don't feel like, you're worthy, whatever the situation is. And so it's kind of like you're holding yourself back from moving forward, when really all you need to do is sit with those feelings that are coming up for you to be worked through, and release them, work through them, sit with them, get to know them. Just don't let them stick around, right? You can't suppress them, or they're not going anywhere. And so as those feelings come up of, again, attachment, unrequited love, unworthiness, whatever comes up for you around this time. And it does feel like lower energy vibration, right? So it's kind of like those feelings of self-doubt, lack of worth, sense of lack, whatever comes up for you around this time, it's just coming up for you to be worked through. So again, it's like, if you can sit with that and really get to know it and understand why it's coming up, and then you can work through it and release it, then you're not going to continue to take it forward, okay? It may pop its head up down the road, and that's fine, but you'll be much more prepared to be able to work through it and handle it. And so if you sit with it now and work through it. So it feels like if you start to feel a little bit stagnant at this time, what I'm feeling is like the only thing holding you back is you. And those self-defeating thoughts, or those addictions, or those things that you fall back to, those crutches that you might fall back to make yourself feel better, but that aren't really helping you. And so again, it's those addictions that we fall prey to ourselves until we can work through them. And so again, and those addictions can also be, emotional addictions, thought patterns, right? So again, anything that comes up for you this week and it feels like, gosh, I just can't get ahead, what it really comes down to is, where are you holding yourself back? Okay. A lot of times, sometimes our circumstances will, dictate how far ahead we can move at what points and all that stuff. But this really feels like an energy of we're holding ourselves back. And so sixes, if that's something that comes up for you, and another thing that just came in for sixes especially is sometimes you can be addicted to overgiving, to overextending yourself, right? To being overly nurturing to others, and then feeling resentment because you feel taken advantage of. And so this can really be an energy for you, sixes, to set those healthy boundaries. I'm just getting this like picture of a ding, 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 like a light bulb going off. Like, so this really feels like it's for a lot of you sixes out there, because that is such an energy of your nature, which is to be that nurturing caregiver, to be sometimes overgive and that sort of thing. But it's when we're not doing it from a place of grace, or a place from our cup being full and wanting to do it as opposed to doing it out of obligation or resentment or that sort of thing. And so again, this just may be a call, sixes, this around this third week, to set those healthy boundaries and not feel, guilt over doing that. And I know that's going to take a little bit of effort and work on your part, but that's definitely, if you can do that, if you can work through that, if you can figure out where you need to lay some boundaries, then as you move into those calmer, more tranquil waters, you're going to be that much healthier for it, right? And then we move into the fourth week of October, and it's really a beautiful energy of this coming together, seeing eye to eye with others, seeing eye to eye, with yourself, with your higher consciousness, with your higher self, and feeling like you're on the right track, right? Feeling like things are coming together, like there's some kind of cohesiveness to your plan, to your trajectory, which is really beautiful, because a lot of times when we're on this journey, it's like we feel a little lost, or like we don't have a lot of clarity. And I feel like for those of you that may have been experiencing that, you will start to feel this clarity coming in. You will start to feel this eye to eye, coming in, this union energy, this balancing of your feminine and masculine energies within as well as without. And so there's also this feeling of mending anything that's been broken relationship wise in the past that needs mending. And so some relationships, when those contracts are over, they're over and the people move on, and it just is what it is, right? But sometimes through our own actions or the actions of others, relationships break and they're not meant to be broken. And so it feels like this energy of a coming back together. That doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be coming back together romantically. That just means coming back together in some kind of union form. And so whether that's family, friends, a past romantic relationship, whatever the case may be, but there are some relationships that we end up breaking through our own actions that aren't meant to be broken. And so we have this opportunity along this last week of October to really work on coming to this relationship with an open mind and allow for the healing to take place, right? And so releasing the need to be right, releasing the need to be in control, and just allow yourself to feel the love, right? Allow the love to flow without the need to control the love, right? And again, that doesn't necessarily have to be romantic or anything along those lines. It's just that feeling of universal love and allowing it to flow without constricting it by the need to control it, right? And a lot of that can come down to pride as well. So if it's a relationship or something that was broken because of your pride, then this could be an opportunity to mend that through your own actions at this time, which is really beautiful energy. And I love that for sixes, because that's such your nature, to be that nurturing caregiver. And so it's like, really, when you're in balance and you're whole, you seek out those opportunities to mend where you can mend, where it's healthy to mend, right? Like I said, some relationships are toxic and meant to be released, but some are meant to be mended. So you may have an opportunity at this time to really take a closer look at those relationships and see. And again, it can be mending that relationship with yourself. So however that comes in for you. And then I pulled an animal spirit card to see what the overall energy was for you for October sixes. And you got bee spirit, which it's this picture of a little bumblebee, and it says, sweet results await. And I really do feel like that's such a beautiful energy and so representative of everything that I'm kind of feeling for October for you, because it really starts out the month with this feeling of celebration and coming together and just enjoying the support and the camaraderie of others, and then moving into that more tranquil water. There's a little bit of work mid-month where you need to work through some of those things holding you back. But as you move into those calmer waters, the sweet results await, right? You just have to do a little bit of work mid-month to move through those things, those chains that are kind of binding you, and then you move into those sweet results of that union of coming together and mending those relationships, or with self or with others that need to be mended. So it's really actually a very beautiful month for you all as far as energy wise. There, like I said, you just have to take the reins mid-month and just kind of work through any of those lower vibe energies that are still kind of holding you back. And if you can do that, then I feel like this month will move pretty fluidly for you. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful energies. This, of course, was a general reading. So if you would like a personalized reading, I would love to do that for you. Just book some time with me, and I'd love to take a look at your personal energies. But yeah, otherwise, I will see you back here again soon. I hope it's a beautiful October. Take care, sixes. Bye.